Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Chloe and I am the events coordinator for Connecting Up and TechSoup New Zealand. For those of you who haven't attended a webinar with us before, Connecting Up is part of the Info Exchange group. And Info Exchange is a not-for-profit social enterprise that has delivered technology for social justice for over 25 years now. With over 100 staff across Australia and New Zealand, we tackle the biggest social challenges through smart and creative use of technology. So I'd like to welcome you today to the NFP State of the Nation Part 2 with Scott Lockie from Empower Your Mission. We had a wonderful session with Scott last week, and this week he's going to be delivering us some more really great insights into where the charity sector is moving in Australia and New Zealand. Now, before we do begin today, though, I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping with you. All lines are muted, so if you have any technical issues, please type it into the questions box that is in your webinar panel, and I'll be able to assist you. And if you have any questions throughout the session, please also type it into the questions box, and Scott's going to answer them at the end of the webinar today in a Q&A section. Please note that your comments and questions will not appear to the entire group as well. And if you're on a Wi-Fi connection and have multiple programs open, this can sometimes affect the quality of the audio and video of your webinar. So if possible, please close all other programs and tabs in your internet screen to help you have the best experience. Please note this webinar is being recorded and a link to the recording and the slides will be sent to you at the end of this session today. And before we start, I would like to remind you there will be a short survey at the end of our webinar today, and we'd really appreciate if you could complete that and leave us some feedback from today's session. So that's all from me. I'm going to disappear and I'll pass it over to Scott to get things started. Thanks very much, Scott.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you so much, and welcome back, everybody. For those of you who actually joined us last week, welcome back for more punishment. Obviously, we didn't scare you off. And for those of you new to the session, I just want to say strap yourselves in. We've got a lot of information to go through today, and hopefully you'll be able to glean a lot of really useful information out of there. So just to recap, also last week, it was very much a high-level overview of what's happening in the sector at the moment, just a bit of a lay of the land. There was a lot of top-line numbers that we went through, just showing you how competitive the sector is, and obviously that need to diversify as well. So we looked at the trends, we looked at the different risks and challenges for your organisations moving forward as well. And apologies, it was also really heavy on stats. So those of you who are not into numbers and statistics, I do apologise. Today's going to be a little bit more different. We're going to talk more about practical tips and tools that you can use to propel your organisation forward as well. A real focus today on digital and also technology and how that's driving change within the sector. Specifically related to fundraising and marketing. So that's really the thrust of today. So as Chloe introduced myself, my name's Scott Lockie. I'm CEO of the Australian Charity Guide and also our training arm Empower Your Mission. And let's get stuck into it. So, apologies, guys. I think the screen just appears to have frozen. My apologies. That was a good start, wasn't it? So today's agenda, we're going to talk about the new NFP digital and technology trends and tools that are out there for you to use. And we've got a look back at also the 2019 Global NGO Technology Report findings. Some really useful information in there that you can take away. We'll look at some benchmarking as well. We'll look at how to compare yourself with other organisations, what the numbers are out there that you should be trying to achieve. We'll also talk about harnessing the power of video marketing. We'll talk about social media, obviously massive for not-for-profits as well, particularly Facebook. And then we'll look behind things like data, security, and segmentation as well. So a lot to get through today. So let's start off with looking at some of the new NFP digital trends and technology tools. If we look at what's actually emerging out there, we're at a state where there's so much happening and it's happening really, really quickly. And unless you're an organisation that jumps on this stuff really quickly, you're going to get left behind. So you really need to be that early adopter of technology. 30% of charities are now using things like mobile apps. And this is to communicate with clients and also with donors as well. Things like Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp. And the great thing about these tools, especially when you're Scottish, is that these things are free. So you can embrace these tools and they're not going to cost your organisation an arm and a leg. And a great way to communicate, especially with younger donors as well, who love all this technology. 12% of charities are also now using bulk SMS. And 98% of text messages are read, and most within 3 minutes. So I think we mentioned it last week, there's no other medium out there that gives you cut through like SMS. And there's a lot of tools that are also out there at the moment, which you can embrace, that are automating those conversations you can have with your donors, whether it be regarding their expiry dates being renewed, a lot of those conversations you can have through SMS, which is terrific. Also things like voice and speech recognition, they're here, they're now. We'll also talk all about voice donations and how they're helping charities as well. 5% of charities are also using artificial intelligence, live chats, chatbots. So again, that's something that maybe your website can implement too. And also at the bottom there, you'll see 1% of charities are now embracing cryptocurrency. So all these things are relatively new, and again, it's a great opportunity to jump on those trends and those tools. Email is still the most effective channel for fundraising. So if you think about years ago, direct mail used to be fantastic, face-to-face was fantastic. If we're looking for the one tip or the one fundraising channel to really embrace, I would say email. So important for your organization. And again, that comes back to collecting email addresses and also the importance of collecting mobile numbers as well. We'll speak about later. So 80% of not-for-profits actually send regular emails and newsletters. So if you're not doing that with your current supporters, you're actually missing a trick. And 73% are happy with their email updates. So again, it's a great tool to get your information through to donors or prospective corporate clients that you may be communicating with through email. And there's so many platforms out there now that allow you to do email for next to nothing, basically. So if you look at MailChimp, a lot of you would have heard of MailChimp. That's by far and away the most popular. But you've got Gmail, you've got Campaign Monitor. There's so many other tools out there that you can actually use. Again, see if you can get it built into your CRM tool and automate a lot of that stuff that you're doing. One thing I've seen charities do extremely well, say for example, you've got 10,000 donors and you don't have the time and resources to phone 10,000 donors. What you can actually do is you can send out an appeal campaign by email to all your 10,000 donors. Have a look at the open rate. So, you may get 15 to 20% of people opening them, and you may get 1% of those people clicking through to actually read one of the appeals or maybe watch a video on your website as well. They're the ones that you can then phone. So email is a fantastic way of funneling prospective donors or even your current donors and trying to work out those who are maybe interested in a major gift or those who are potentially interested in becoming a gift in will opportunity for your organization. So use email, it's a fantastic tool. You can see who's opened it. When you send out a direct mail piece, you've got no idea who's opened that direct mail piece. All you do is just wait for the money to come back in. You really don't know how well it's gone until the money starts coming back in. With email campaigns, you can actually send them out that day and you'll know exactly who's opened it as well. Some great cut through email. And also in terms of digital marketing, charities are increasing their spend with digital marketing, no surprise there. And if you look at that little infograph there, there's a number of different ways that you can channel your fundraising money, your fundraising digital marketing spend. So Google Ads is one way of doing it. So actually buying to ads to get the top of the Google search rankings. Also, social media paid advertising, so things like Facebook posts and boosting those is something that your organization can do. Charities are also now trying to come up with online products that are a little bit more glitzy, a little bit more glamorous, and they're using in-house design tools as well. Things like Canva you can actually use for free, or there are the premium packages, and you can produce some really professional material, whether it be a gifts in will kit or an appeal that you're sending out. Also, marketing and email automation is something that you might want to use use your digital marketing dollars on. And also website analytical tools as well. So important. There's so many charities that I talk to have no idea how many hits they're getting on their website. They've got no idea where those hits are coming from geographically. They don't know how long people are spending on the website. They don't know which page they're coming in on, which page they're going out on. and they don't know what the bounce rate is as well. So most of you will have websites who've got those tools. Really worthwhile having somebody in your organization spending at least 1 hour per week just having a look at those analytics and working out where your audience is coming from. That then helps you target if you're going out looking for new donors. In terms of where the digital advertising budget is getting spent, 46% is getting spent on new donor acquisition. So almost half of that money is spent on trying to acquire new donors. About 18% is also on lead generation, about 23% on branding. So as you can see, almost 2/3 of that pie is spent on charities trying to attract new donors. And alarmingly, only 14% of that digital marketing spend is spent on looking after your current donors. So it's almost like that coffee shop analogy where all these people are coming into your coffee shop and you're not nurturing those people and they're walking out and you're continually having to replace them with new donors, which is a very expensive process. So just think about where your marketing budget is getting spent and maybe try and tweak it a little bit to focus more on how do you nurture those current donors rather than continually going out and chasing new donors. Also, don't forget, if you're a registered not-for-profit, there is the Google Ad Grant, and most charities don't even know that it exists. But Google will actually give you $10,000 per month to spend on in-kind advertising. It's not eligible for healthcare organisations and schools, but the vast bulk of not-for-profits can tap into that pool of money. And that is an absolute game changer for organisations looking to attract donors, corporate partners, potentially even volunteers as well, and maybe even clients. If you're a disability organisation, it's really important to attract clients with that NDIS package. So if anybody wants any help with that, please contact me. I can step you through that process and hopefully help your organisation get that $10,000 per month, which is an absolute godsend. So think about where your marketing money is being spent. Okay, so we're going to look at some of the trends from last year that charities are embracing, and I'll just play this little video. Hopefully it plays okay, and you can hear the sound as well. Okay, and I was looking forward to that conference being held again to work out, what are the technology trends that are happening and expected to happen in 2020. But obviously that was cancelled with COVID. But hopefully a lot of little tips and tools there that your organisation can embrace. And one of the key things is the rise of digital payments via social media, and we saw it with Celeste Barber through Facebook and the fantastic amount of money she raised, over $50 million. But more and more organizations are tapping into people using their phone to pay for things. So if you think about Apple, Samsung Pay, Android Pay, Apple will actually make more money this year from people using their payment system than they will from selling all their iPhones and MacBooks. So they want you spending money and paying for things using your mobile phone. And obviously social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, that's where people are engaging with video content. And it's so easy now to, even with your YouTube videos, put a little donate button on there. People can tap that donate button and pay with their thumbprint through Apple Pay or Samsung Pay, or whichever one that they use. So again, a whole heap of payment systems that are now open to you, and also celebrities or ambassadors that can go out and raise significant funds for your organization. There's also apps such as Roundup and GiveType, which we'll explain shortly as well. Also the live chats. Say, for example, your organization receives 100 calls every day, and 90% of those questions that are being asked of your staff or the person on your reception, perhaps those 90% of questions could be answered online, because often they go to your website, they can't get the answer, and then they'll phone up your organization. So if 90% of people are asking the same question, why not put it on your live chat and answer it that way? It frees up those resources at your front desk to do other tasks. Also, text giving and text messaging is increasing. Gopher, Conversa, again, tools that you can embrace that allows you to have those automated conversations with your donors. And again, so much cheaper to do text giving than what it is to do direct mail. And we spoke last week about it being, you can do campaigns for 6, 7 cents as opposed to $2 per piece for a direct mail. And obviously the cut through is far greater. We'll also talk about wearable technology shortly as well. We'll talk about voice donations. I think this is going to be a real game changer, because the research that I've done says that 30% of searches done on the internet now are done through voice search. So it's no longer people typing into Google, it's people using tools such as Alexa, Google Home, and those tools. So again, how can you tap into those opportunities for your organization? Now, the other thing is also pop-ups, and I know personally I hate pop-ups when I go into a website and it pops up asking you to sign up for the newsletter. But generally on charity websites, 1% of people who land on your site, who visit your website, 1% of those people will actually sign up for your newsletter, and 1% will also donate as well. That's one of the benchmarks. With pop-ups, you can actually triple that. So it will actually be 3%. And I know they can be annoying, but they actually work. So be creative with them and just think about how you can build your mailing lists using pop-ups. Definitely worth looking into. Okay, now what we're going to do is go through a number of little videos just to show you some of the technology that's already out there. Some of them have been out there for a couple of years, and we'll talk a little bit about how charities are using these tools to raise funds and create customer engagement as well. So some of you may have heard of Donation Tap Point. I'll just play this little video for you, and this will explain how it all works.
Collecting small donations electronically for your charity is now possible with the Quest Donation Point tab. In our growing cashless society, collecting donations have become less effective with the shift towards contactless payments. Donation Point Tap provides charities with the ability to accept donations both electronically and securely, and removes the barrier of no change. Simply set an amount. Place Donation Point Tap in store with your charity partners, such as supermarkets, petrol stations, or cafes. Donation Point Tap can also be used at one-off indoor or outdoor events. Make it easy to accept spur-of-the-moment donations to your charity. Donation Point Tap also removes the risk to store owners and the consequences of theft of coin tins by electronically transferring all donations to your account daily. Donation Point Tap is a completely self-service way of collecting funds and operates 24/7 with no staff intervention required. With a web portal available, you will be able to monitor in real time how your Donation Point Tap terminals are performing, giving you the opportunity to move non-performing units to higher traffic locations. Donation Point Tap eliminates the need to arrange for volunteers or agencies to collect and count cash donations from tins. So start the move with Donation Point Tap, the smarter way to accept donations.
Okay, so that's Donation Point Tap. You've probably seen quite a few of these in the different coffee shops and retail outlets that are out there. I've actually seen buskers use them as well. So there's no more excuse where you walk past and can't put any coins in, because that technology is there. And the great thing about it, as well, as I mentioned about security, but also you can change the dollar amount on there. So you might want to put it in a coffee shop for a week, try it at $2, see how much money it brings in for you. Next week, you might want to put up to $5 and just see what actually happens with that. I've also seen charities use them with their corporate partners. So they might have it in the lunchroom, and every Friday in that corporate, there may be 500 people working in their offices. People go and tap that. $2 every week, that's what they do, that's $1,000. So there's a number of different ways that you can use these. I've seen them in KFC, Ronald McDonald House over in Perth, I was in there, they've got that on their front desk. And I've also heard about charities using them at funerals as well. So if somebody's passed away from cancer, in lieu of giving flowers, people will tap $20 on the way out. Again, another really good way of tapping into to those donations that are out there. And everybody's using their card or their mobile phone these days. Very few people are using cash, especially after coronavirus as well. So again, really important to tap into these tools that are already out there. In terms of the cost of these terminals, they were about $500 when they came out. I think they've come down significantly over that time, and you can even get similar ones in Officeworks for $99. So again, a great way to use these. You can use them at your gala events when they start up again, maybe your golf days, a number of different ways you can tap into those. In terms of mobile fundraising apps, there's a lot of them out there. One of the ones that I've seen that I think is perfect is one called GiveTide, very similar to another one called Roundup. And how it works is you get your supporters to download the app on their mobile phone, and obviously their phone is hooked up to either Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or Android Pay. And what happens is they go about their every day or every month shopping activities. Every purchase they make is rounded up to the nearest dollar or the nearest $2. And then at the end of that month, that money then goes to their charity of choice. And I think the average I heard was roughly about $40, $50 that can be raised per month. So that's a lot of money when you look at it over the year, about $500, just from people going about their everyday shopping activities. So again, if you've got a database of 5,000 donors, and even 1% of those actually downloads the app, again, that's a really passive and beautiful incremental revenue stream that you can tap into, where there's very little work on your behalf, very little work on their behalf, and it's a really nice little bit of revenue coming in there. So have a look for those fundraising apps that are out there. There's also one called Social Swipe, and I'll play this as a very visually appealing way of attracting donors to your cause. So I'll play the video and then we'll have a little discussion.
Since 1958, the relief organization Miserio has been creating self-help initiatives for the third world. In the fight against poverty and injustice, every euro counts, and it's clear that even small donations can make a big difference, though very few people know this. The simple solution, the one thing that people always have with them, a credit card. Last year, over 40% of all payments in Europe were made with one. With this in mind, Miserio developed the Social Swipe, the first poster that accepts credit cards. The poster makes giving easier than ever before, and you can see the results. Your donation can provide daily bread for a family in Peru, or help an imprisoned Filipino child return to a normal life, all for just €2. These unique billboards were developed together with Stripe.com, a leader in innovative payment solutions. The posters initially attracted people's attention in international airports, but stayed with them long after. When donors received their credit card statement, they were asked to turn their one-off donation into a monthly donation. It's a small gesture that makes a big difference. The Social Swipe, making giving easier than ever before.
So hopefully you like that one. I think donation tap point is probably more a replacement, a direct replacement for the bucket collections and the old coin bucket collections. People put money in, you didn't necessarily know who they were. But something like Social Swipe is great because obviously it's very, very visually appealing. Not everybody can afford to put them into airports. But when they get the bill at the end of the month, it actually gives you that opportunity for them to sign up and become a monthly donor as well. So hopefully you're not going to lose all those people who have very kindly swiped the credit card. But again, not everybody can afford to put those in airports, but maybe there's something you could do on an iPad if you're doing face-to-face fundraising again, and people tap it and something beautiful happens on your iPad screen as well. So a number of different ways they can use that, but obviously a really significant visual appeal to it. that social swipe. When we spoke before about text giving, I'll just play an example of a text giving campaign and how you can be a little bit creative with it as well.
It is the year of giving. Create a better future for children. Text the symbol of the ambulance car to 3330 and contribute 5 dirhams to provide a better healthcare for children. Happiness is giving.
So again, instead of people just texting a code, you can maybe make it a little bit more interesting and start using emojis. So there's pretty much emojis for everything now. I'm not sure if there's an emoji for a Scotsman in a kilt, but if not, there should be. But maybe if you're an environmental organisation, maybe a tree could be the emoji that you'd want to use. Or if you're the oceans and ocean welfare, maybe it's about a whale, picture of a whale or an emoji of a whale. So be creative with it, but it's another way that you can put out to your donors if you've got their mobile numbers, and do an SMS and text giving campaign as well. So again, be creative with it. Again, the power of having people's mobile numbers as well as their email address. I'm going to play you a little video from RunGopher, and it shows you how to automate that conversation with your donors.
By now, you're probably already familiar with the benefits of reaching your customers through SMS. More and more companies are discovering the power of SMS marketing, but many of them are not utilising the power properly. Instead of having robotic conversations or sending generic marketing messages, here at RunGopher, we make things personal. RunGopher can help you automate highly personalised conversations so that you can build stronger relationships with your customers, achieve higher response rates, and increase sales. We have a library of ready-made templates to fit different marketing, sales, and administrative needs across a variety of industries. Simply pick a template, customise the text, upload your contacts, and send. You can view the results of your campaign and keep track of your customers' responses. With our technology automating much of the work, you'll be able to save time while improving customer relations.
So again, another tool that you may want to tap into, and I can't stress enough the importance of on your website and conversations with your donors, that you're getting obviously their name, address, their email, and also their mobile number as well, because it allows you to all this magnificent stuff, WhatsApp, bulk SMS, text giving. There's a number of different things that you can do with it. So definitely worthwhile looking into. Now this is also new as well. It's called Wearable Technology. It's an organisation called Nearfield Creative by a guy based up in Brisbane. And there's some great stuff. You'll obviously love the puppies in this video, but I just want you to have a look at the video and look at how charities are also embracing this different technology and how you can use it on face-to-face fundraising and a number of different things.
I'm Jock Beveridge, the General Manager of Community Engagement here at Guide Dogs Queensland. My role here at Guide Dogs is looking after all of our communications, marketing and fundraising. So with our staff and a great team of volunteers, we raise all the funds that we need to train and the fundraising landscape is definitely changing, and technology is playing a big part in that. People more and more are using their mobile phones for everything, including how they engage with charities. They're online far more than they used to. People are carrying less cash. These are all things we have to be responsive to and thinking of fundraising. Everybody knows that there are a lot of charities and a lot of really worthy causes out there. It's a competitive environment. So we've always got to be looking for new and innovative ways to raise funds and to engage with people out there in the community. We know young people in particular use their phones for everything, and they're also really looking for interactive experiences. So with this technology, we're now able to combine those two, create an awesome interactive experience with our dogs, and also allow them the opportunity to make a donation right there while they're in the moment. The future is all about mobile. It won't be long before people aren't even carrying cards, aren't even carrying their wallets with them. So we need to be at the forefront of that wave.
So hopefully you really like that. Amazing puppies there as well, and that whole interactivity of it as well is so important. When you've got people in the moment, as Jock said there, that's the opportunity to make them give, and give them that opportunity to make it as simple as possible and as few steps as possible as well. It's the same with your YouTube videos. You know, if somebody's seen a really compelling 2-minute video outlining the wonderful work that your organization's doing, that's when they're at their hottest to donate to your organization. So for them to go away and write a check and post it in, it's too hard. Whereas if you've got that donate button on your YouTube videos, people tap it and pay with their thumbprint, it's done. And obviously there's not that cooling off period, and you're making it as easy as possible for people as well. So again, another fantastic little bit of technology that's out there that's driving change as well. So just encourage you to think about how you can tap into that technology for your organization as well. Also, what I've seen out there, this one's really exciting. It's voice donation. So you can basically donate from sitting on your lounge and talking into Alexa. So I'll play the video, and again, we'll have a little discussion after as well.
Alexa, open NSPCC. Welcome to the NSPCC, the UK's leading children's charity, working to protect children today and prevent abuse from happening tomorrow. Would you like to donate? Find out more about NSPCC or learn about its role. £2. I heard £2. Is that correct? Yes. Great. Amazon Pay will be used to take £2 from your account. Is that okay? Yes. Amazon Pay will be used for your payment. £2 will be paid using Amazon Pay. More information in the Alexa app. Thank you. Your donation is complete. You're helping NSPCC protect children.
So how simple is that? Again, another tool that is just making it so easy for people to be able to give. And again, Amazon are no different from Apple. It's all about people using their payment system, and they clip the ticket on the way through. So again, another tool that could be fantastic for your organization, definitely worthwhile looking into. Okay, so we're going to look at the 2019 Global NGO Technology Report findings. And there's a lot of interesting stats in here. Those of you who are having a bit of stat deprivation after last week, I'm going to hit you with quite a few stats, but they are really important to have a look at what's going on out there. So 12% of not-for-profits have now actually got live chat. So if you're not using it, and again, this is a global survey, if you're not using live chat, definitely worthwhile looking into. Again, in terms of, you know, it really depends on how many people you've got coming to your website, but definitely worthwhile using live chat. 19% of charity websites are designed for those with visual and hearing disabilities as well. So if that is your target audience, then obviously you want to make sure that your website supports those people when they come and visit. 31% of charity websites don't have an SSL certificate. So Google is now classifying those websites as not safe, and will not be serving them in the Google search rankings as well when people search for your type of organization. So again, that comes with the padlock, the HTTPS. Make sure you've got that on your charity website. Otherwise, you might be missing out on a lot of SEO search traffic. 1% of charities, as we touched on before, are accepting cryptocurrency. Maybe that's an area that you want to get into. 55% of charities don't utilize a CRM software tool. And again, this is almost unforgivable. We look at charities that are running their organization on Excel spreadsheets. A lot of double handling between different systems as well. So make sure you've got a good CRM tool, customer relation management tool, that manages all your clients, all your donors, all your corporate partners in that one focal point for your organization. 47% of charities don't send email fundraising appeals, and again, that could be because they're not collecting emails, or it could be because they don't have a system to store those emails. And yet email, as we've spoken before, is the best driver of fundraising activity. 28% of charities use WhatsApp or other messaging tools as well. Maybe that's an opportunity for your organisation. And 56% of not-for-profits have got no written social media strategy. So it really is just ad hoc, it's piecemeal, it's, we haven't posted anything this week. Can we grab a photograph and pop something up on Facebook? You really need a strategy behind this stuff. You guys have got amazing stories. Collate them and then push them out through all your social media channels and on your website as well. And not-for-profits say that the 5 most powerful communication and fundraising tools are, number 1 is the website. And one area I think where charities can really improve is on having a functional, easy on the eye website, because a lot of charities do great stuff on Facebook, on social media. They drive all this traffic through to a website that looks terrible. It's all text heavy. It doesn't convert people into donors. It doesn't allow people an interactive experience. So make sure that the website, which is your shop front, is as good as it can be in terms of functionality and in terms of looks as well. Number 2 is social media. No great surprise there. We've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, there's Twitter, we've got TikTok now as well. There's all those social media channels, Instagram as well, that you could be tapping into your organization. Email, again, so important to collect emails and then use a proper tool such as MailChimp to actually push those emails out, and also have a look at the analytics behind and see what your open rates are, which stories are resonating with people. Also video as well, hugely important, and also the use of infographics. People tend not to read reams of text anymore. So if you've got reams of text or paragraphs, try and sum it up in a picture, an image, or a GIF, or an infograph as well. So just make it really visually appealing. Okay, we're going to look at the MRR Benchmarks survey. Some great tips and tools out of this as well for charities to find out how many people are coming to your website, how many are converting, and again, you can compare your organisation against these benchmarks. So traffic to not-for-profit websites is growing, no massive surprise there. And the average from the findings of the survey is that 1.2% of website visitors will make a donation, and about 1.1% will subscribe to your newsletter. Now, the vast bulk of charities that I talk to when I run workshops and boot camps, webinars, most charities do not know what their conversion rate is. So they need to get better at looking at the analytics, the back end of the website to see how many people are coming in and how many people are converting. But it's really useful to know those benchmarks. So if you're greater than 1% for either of those 2 things, you're doing a really good job. If you're below, maybe you need to look at making the donate button bigger, maybe putting it on different pages, maybe putting it at the top of the page, trialing different colors as well. So a number of different things you can do there. Email volume is growing, no great surprise there either. And the average charity, according to the benchmark survey, sends out 59 emails per annum to their supporters or donors. So if you're a member or a person who gives to 5 different charities, you're basically going to be getting about an email a day from charities. So don't think by sending out 12 emails that you're overdoing it. You're not. The average is actually 59 emails. But the key there is with your emails, break it down into 3 chunks. So think about emails that are, yes, you might want to ask for money. That might be one bucket of emails. Another bucket of emails might be educating people on where that money is going. And the other email might just be a thank you. So don't always keep asking for money. Break it into those 3 buckets and mix up that marketing message. In terms of the open rates, it's roughly about 13 to 15% across Australia and New Zealand in terms of open rates, and the click-through rate is less than 1%. So that's the benchmarks for you to focus on. I was running a workshop, I think it was down in Melbourne, and there was a lady down there that was getting 70% open rate on her emails. They were a major gift part of our organisation, and that is just a phenomenal 70% open rate. So if you can get towards that, I asked her what the key was, and she would phone her donors as well. So she built up that relationship with them. She was expecting, they were expecting that email to come through. So again, there's a couple of little tips and tools that you can use to increase those open rates. And again, if people are clicking on particular stories and you're getting a really good click-through rate, whether if you're an animal welfare organisation and people are you're getting 70% click-throughs on Chihuahua stories, then feed more of those stories into your audience. Maybe people prefer Chihuahuas to Labradors, I don't know. But just think about who's clicking on what, and don't send cat lovers dog lover stuff or dog stories because you'll lose them. So again, just knowing your audience and being able to see who is clicking on what is so important for your organization. Also, social media audiences are growing again, no great surprise there. Facebook, by far and away the best social media platform for not-for-profits, but there is Twitter, there is Instagram. TikTok is the new one that's really taking off as well. So again, think about your digital spend. Where is that money going? Maybe you want to put your toe in the water and start to do some things like Facebook ads as well and start trialing that. Mobile surpasses desktop for not-for-profit website traffic as well. So when people are going to your website, make sure it's optimized for mobile as well as that desktop experience, because more people are actually now going to your website via your mobile, but 70% of fundraising revenue still comes from desktop. So maybe there's a lesson there in terms of optimizing and making sure that mobile experience is really, really good, because more people are visiting you that way, but they're not converting at such a high rate. So it could be that whole mobile experience that you're giving your prospective donors. So again, important to look at. Okay, now we're going to talk about the harnessing the power of video marketing. And if you think about social media, it used to be little text posts, then it was images. Now it's pretty much video if you want to get any cut through. So the power of video marketing is so important. And I'll go through some stats as well as to why you should be producing video content. So having your website, having your social media presence is one thing, but creating that engaging content is another. And some charities really don't do it very well. And as we said before, charities have got the best stories of any sector out there, but we're probably the worst at actually telling them. So there's some lessons in there. YouTube users watch about 5 billion videos a day, and it's actually the second biggest search engine in the world. So if you're looking to change your tap or find out about animal welfare, people will go to YouTube. And if you're not producing video content and you're not posting it on YouTube, you're missing out on a massive, massive audience. And they say that the two most effective ways of taking in information are reading and watching a video, reading and also watching a video. And our brains absorb and process info 60,000 times faster by video than by text. And I really want to know who works out that stat, because there must be some boffin somewhere that is able to work that out. But again, if you've got reams and reams of text, try and replace it with a photograph. If you can, the photograph's not working, replace it with a short little 30-second video as well. Because as humans, we learn from each other. And think about your own experiences. You know, you can tell a massive story in just a couple of minute video, whereas you might need to write a book to tell that story in text. So again, people learn it, like it, share it, produce that content that can go viral. And Cisco predicts that this year, 80% of the time spent on the internet will actually be watching video. So it's not reading text, it's actually watching video. So if you're wondering what your kids are doing, 80% of the time they're on there watching video. So make sure you're producing that content. Not-for-profits are now using video in a myriad of innovative and different ways as well. So you may have a blog, you maybe turn that into a video. And there's a great little tool I'll share with you called Content Samurai, and there's plenty of other ones out there. But you can actually produce videos for free. So you can put images in there, it'll convert it into a fantastic little video. There's backing tracks that you can use, and you can produce quite polished videos for next to nothing. So think about maybe those blogs that you do. If people are not going to read them, maybe turn them into a video. Also think about your donor appeals. Maybe you want to have a video there with your board member explaining why your organization is running this appeal. You may want to have one of your clients there, maybe giving a fantastic testimonial about how you've helped them. Also calls for volunteers. So you can use video for a number of different things, maybe even corporate partners. But one of the things I'd really encourage you to do is turning your annual reports into a short 2-minute video. So if I get your annual report and it comes to me and it's got 40 pages, I'm not going to read through it. So maybe go through your annual report, pick out the 10 most salient points, put it into a short little 2-minute video, and then you can push that out with your appeals. And you can even attach it to your grant applications as well. So again, another little tool. Video content, so important. People will watch a 2-minute video, they're not going to read a 40-page annual report. So attach that with your, maybe even your corporate partnership prospects as well. You can send that out to them. So again, just a number of different ways of how you can use video. And as we said before, video is being consumed in incredible levels. by audiences out there. Facebook, and again, think about all the different types of social media. They're all now video first. We see it on LinkedIn, we see it on Twitter, we see it on Facebook, and obviously TikTok as well. So it's all about video content will be shown first. So if you're looking at your feeds on there, very few text posts will now get through. So don't even bother about putting text posts through. Think about video. And there's a bit of a pecking order in terms of the content for social media in terms of getting engagement. So number one is live video. If you're running live video, that will be at the top of the pops. Then it will be video, then it will be images, and at the very bottom will be text. So think about the content that you're pushing out. If it's not engaging people, maybe you're missing a trick there because you're not using video. Most social media consumption is also done on mobile. So think about your video formats like square and vertical. Most people, when they produce a video, will produce it in landscape, which is obviously great for desktop, not so good for your social media devices. So square videos provide 7 to 8% more space in social feeds than landscape. Doesn't need people tilting their phones to watch it as well. And there's a really interesting thing that was done with the Jane Goodall Institute. They actually created a square version and a desktop version of the exact same video, put the same spin behind it, and the square one got 2 times more likes and 3 times more shares as well. So again, this stuff you can test, but just have a look at the different formats that you're pushing this out with. And also 80% of videos are actually watched with the sound off. So don't have all your messages in voice, because often they're not going to be heard. And the reason why that is because most people are watching these videos when they should be working, or they may be even watching them on their commute to and from work on the bus or the train. So make sure you design for sound off, but you delight for sound on. And yeah, make sure you've got that legible, large text that's viewable on a mobile as well. Also use the best imagery at the beginning of a video. People tend not to watch a video to the end. So whether it be a 10-second video or a 3-minute video, people tend not to watch it to the end. So make sure you get their attention at the start with a hook and then get to the point. And you don't feel that you need to put everything into one 5-minute video. There's such an appetite for video consumption out there. You just need to drip feed it to people. So just one story at a time, there's more than enough consumption out there for you. Also, social video generates 1,200% more shares than text and images combined. So there's also an SEO importance to producing video content and pushing that through your different communication channels. And obviously you can put that on your website as well. So again, a whole heap of reasons why you should be using video. Okay, we're going to talk now about social media and how not-for-profits are actually using social media to promote their causes and also gain engagement. So if you look at the most popular social media platforms, by far and away, it's Facebook, which we've spoken about before, with there's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and obviously TikTok is the new one, which everybody's talking about. And a lot of those platforms now are accepting donations. So people can watch something on video or participate in a Facebook fundraiser and donate through the mobile phone as well. So again, have a look at those tools, which one of those platforms is going to be best for your organization, depending on your audience as well. 32% of charities worldwide have a written social media strategy, so most don't. And again, that's people missing a trick there. You really need the strategy behind your content that you're pushing out, and you need to be monitoring the engagement you're getting with that content as well. 95% agree that social media is effective for online brand awareness. So even that reason alone is enough reason to be actually producing social media content. And it's also a really effective tool for fundraising, as we saw with Celeste Barber. So in terms of how do you harness Facebook, Facebook wants people to stay on their platform for longer. So they want the content to be thoughtful and engaging as well. So start meaningful conversations with your audience. And it could be by running polls, maybe you're asking questions and getting people commenting and sharing. Also be succinct with your posts. Facebook now wants shorter, not longer posts. You get more engagement that way. Again, as we said, focus on that visual content, whether it be images, infographics, GIFs, and videos. That's the content that you want to be producing. That's the appetite for the content that's out there. And as we said before, live videos, so whether it be a gala dinner that you're running or another event, live video tends to get that greatest level of engagement. Also engage your employees. People are more likely to like and share content coming from somebody that they know. So encourage your employees or your clients maybe even to get on there and start sharing some of your information. You can also boost posts. So you might want to put a post on Facebook, see, or a range of posts, see which ones take off organically, and then those ones you might want to boost with some paid advertising. So again, don't put money behind everything. Be a little bit smarter about where you're putting that money and have a look at those ones that are already organically doing really well. Also ask your followers to click on the newsfeed preference tab and add your page to the see first list. So you're always coming up at the top of their post. So sometimes you need to educate people on how to do that. But the tools are out there. We've seen with Celeste Barber and how much money she raised. And obviously there was the court case that was settled the other day. But what an amazing platform to raise money. And we've never seen anything like somebody raising $50 million in a matter of days. So again, those platforms are out there. Just make sure you're using it and make sure you're producing that content that's relevant. And there you go, Facebook posts less than 140 characters receive 50% more comments, a lot more reach and a lot more likes. So keep it succinct, keep it to the point, and again, produce that visual content. When we have a look at internationally, when are the best times to post on Facebook? Again, it depends on your own audience, and you should be looking at your Facebook insights for this anyway. But there's a bit of a heat map about when the best times and when you'll actually get the highest engagement is. So if you look at Facebook, Wednesday seems to be a really good day for engagement. Thursday as well, and that sweet spot seems to be around 10 o'clock in the morning. So maybe that's when people are at their office, maybe they're having morning tea. That might be a great time to post content. Also Friday between 9 and 11, people are probably already switched off because it's the weekend coming up. So maybe that's the time to start posting your content. But again, it depends on your particular audience. Also, in terms of Facebook, with the donate button, there's the PayPal Giving Fund. We won't play the video because we are a little bit behind time, but again, when you get the presentations, you can actually play it. But make sure you've got that PayPal account so that you can start to tap into Facebook donations, and these can already be taking place across Australia and New Zealand as well. A great way of tapping into people who are passionate about your cause, that maybe want to do a birthday fundraiser for your organisation. Facebook will even prompt people 2 weeks before to think about setting up a birthday fundraiser. So make sure you're signed up for these tools. People may choose you and they may raise significant amounts of money for your organization, and you really don't have to do much. In terms of Twitter, if you look at the hotspots, Wednesday and Friday around about 9 o'clock in the morning tend to be a sweet spot there as well. Again, depends on your audience. Instagram, Friday, people again already switching off by 10 o'clock morning tea. So put your feet up, it's party time on a Friday. So have a look at those hotspots, and again, test this. You know, this is not set in stone. It depends on your audience. Have a look at when the sweet spots are for your audience. Maybe it's a Saturday morning and you find you get double the amount of engagement when you post stuff on a Saturday morning. So test this stuff and see what works best for your organization. LinkedIn, I think, is an underutilized resource for not-for-profits, especially for tapping into corporates, because you can connect with people that are in, you know, your target industry, your target geographic location. You might want to tap into HR managers or corporate social responsibility people within corporates, or the CEOs. So just think about tapping into LinkedIn if you're looking to get corporate partnerships as well. Okay, Blackboard Data Assets white paper. We spoke before and quite a lot today about the importance of data, not just collecting it, but actually putting it into a usable format through a CRM tool. Blackboard are obviously experts when it comes to not-for-profit software. The Economist said the world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. And if you look at all those organizations that are doing extremely well at the moment, so Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, all those massive organizations, they're all data-driven organizations, and they're able to do so much and do so well because they collect and utilize and segment data. And not-for-profits are no different. If you're not collecting data, whether it be emails or mobile numbers or age groups or all those other demographics, you're really missing a trick. Also, Blackboard have found that through their system, their charity databases, the average not-for-profit is missing 49% of their supporters' phone numbers. So how can they actually phone up and say thank you for that donation that came in when they don't even know, they haven't even got your phone number? And the average not-for-profit has valid email addresses for only 26% of their database. It's a massive missed opportunity. So make sure you're collecting that data. Make sure you've got a database that allows you to capture. Make sure you get a database that allows you to do a lot of reporting, which then allows you to do predictive modeling, a bit of segmentation, and maybe even automating a lot of the stuff that you do as well, those conversations that you can have with your donors and corporate partners, which again frees you up to do other things. Also, the importance of security of your system. So an Excel spreadsheet, probably not the most secure system that you can use, but 45% of charities worldwide use a CRM tool to track, which means obviously that 55% of charities don't. So they may be using a Word doc or an Excel spreadsheet, or they're writing on the back of a post-it note. So not the best way to manage data. 64% of charities also use cloud-based CRM tools. So you don't need to spend a lot of money these days on the hardware. It's all in the cloud. Use those tools and platforms. And only 41% of charities use encryption technology to protect their data. And you can't afford to get that stuff wrong. So please make sure that you're doing the right thing in terms of capturing and storing that information securely. Okay, and just to finish up, good data management, if you're doing that correctly, allows you to target each giving generation differently. And if you look at how different generations like to give, and in terms of the communication channels that inspire them, millennials are more inspired by social media. With Generation X and baby boomers, it's more about email. That gives you the greatest cut through. And if you look at Generation Z or Centennials, very rarely will they be on a website. They'll be using mobile apps. So again, think about how you're targeting your audience and communicating with them through those different channels. And when we look at globally where the money's coming from in terms of fundraising, 36% of money is coming from Generation X's, 25% is coming from baby boomers, about 15% from matures, and about 24% from Generation Z and millennials. So again, it's another really useful exercise is to have a look at your database and try and see where your money is coming from in terms of age groups. Because you might find that 90% of your audience are matures, and they love doing raffles, they love doing lotteries with you, but they're certainly probably not going to want to do text giving. So understanding this stuff allows you to target those messages better. And if you look at how different generations like to make an impact, Generation Z and millennials, not so much about donating, but it's more about volunteering. So if you want to engage that younger audience, give them volunteering opportunities, give them opportunities to engage meaningfully with your organization. With boomers and matures, it's more about, I'll give you the money, just go and do the good that I know you're going to do with it. So again, knowing your audience is going to allow you to target things a little bit better. So I think we're just about 1 minute to go. So hopefully, Chloe, we managed to get in there. We still have time for Q&A. And guys, I know that was a lot of information I've thrown at you. Hopefully, a lot of practical tools and a bit of a smorgasbord of what's out there. And again, it's about you going through and picking through what's relevant and useful and doable by your organisation. So if we can open it up to any questions that the audience might have.
Yes, we have a question from Tom, and you might not be able to provide this right now, but even we can do a follow-up email with this detail. But do you have any specific examples of websites that do work well or are easy on the eyes that function well for charities?
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably 6 that I look at. Probably one of the best ones I would say is Thank You. So the social enterprise, that's a really, really visually appealing one. It's got a lot of great stuff on it. I like the Mission Australia one, the Mission Australia website. The fonts, the colours, very much on line with their branding. Another good one to look at is the Flying Doctor as well. So they've got an interactive flight map, and on there you can actually, if you're a donor or a philanthropist, you can actually see where your money's going in real time. They've got a live flight map of the planes flying all over the country helping people. So yeah, a lot of really good ones out there. Oz Harvest is probably another good website to look at.
Wonderful. And that's all the questions that we've got so far today. So again, I think you've provided a huge amount of detail for people. Is there anything you'd like to say to everyone before I wrap up today's session?
As I said last week, I've got notes, a lot of information to digest, and obviously you'll get a copy of the presentation, so you'll feel free to go through it. We have also got a not-for-profit roadmap to success webinar that's coming up in June, where we go into a lot of the stuff in a lot more detail. I'd love you guys to come along to that. That's the information on the screen there as well. If you just visit charitytraining.net, all the information is on there. That's going to be via Zoom. Also, if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, is a great way to do it. I'll also put my details up there, so you've got my email, you've got my phone number. Please reach out. I'm more than happy to help organisations in any way that I can, even if it's pointing you in the right direction for the different resources that are out there, because there's so many tools and things that you can tap into nowadays that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. So if you want to even just shoot the breeze and ask me some questions about which platforms are better, or there's the question there from Tom just about which websites are the best, I'm more than happy to help. So yeah, thank you for everybody giving up their time to listen to my accent, and hopefully you managed to understand everything I said.
Thank you so much, Scott, and thanks for your presentation today. Again, there were some really wonderful examples and some great innovation there that you highlighted for everyone. So thank you also everyone for joining us today. I hope you've learned a lot from the presentation, and as Scott said, feel free to get in touch with him directly via that email on his screen there if you have any further questions. And if you are seeking further insight and support around funding and sector support to get you through the 2021 financial year, we do have a fantastic webinar program lined up for June with Connecting Up and TechSoup New Zealand. And this does include a free webinar on updates around COVID-19 grants, JobKeeper, payments, and end of year financial planning for the sector for Australia. And also for Australia and New Zealand, we're running a leadership webinar series of 4 webinars that will give leaders and managers the tools for planning and budgeting and redefining your social impact for 2021. So please check out our events page on our Connecting Up and TechSoup website for more information. Don't forget that your recording from today's session will be available on our website very shortly, and we will send a link to you, so keep an eye out on your inbox. And again, thank you so much for being with us. Please enjoy the rest of your day, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you, Scott. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.